Episode 175.
It's exciting. It's every day at the end of the day, and you look at that growth, you can say, wait, I won the game today. I won. And to measure it day and measure it week and measure it month and see, and then celebrate it with your team, that's the greatest thing in the world, to say, you know what, we may have had a few bumps today, but we won the day. We won.
Welcome, aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hey, aftermarketers throughout North America and around the world. Carm Capriato here on the Remarkable Results Radio podcast. Hey, it's the place where ideas, insights, and expertise is served up twice per week. I'm with Brian Jesko in episode 175, and if you'd like more information on Brian, see the show notes at remarkableresults.biz/E175. Don't forget, the podcast is brought to you by Federal Mogul Motor Parts and Garage Gurus. For serious technical training and support, online, on-site, and on-demand, Garage Gurus is everything you need to know. Find out more at fmgaragegurus.com. Hey, do you follow me on social at all? Well, here's a shout out to Tim Teague and Lee Schweitzer for recently liking my Facebook page at Our Results Podcast, and also to Auto Specialties and D's Auto and Truck for the follow on Twitter. And my handle on Twitter is at Our Results Biz. I'm also on LinkedIn. Find Carm Capriato. Hey, should podcasting be this much fun? Because I'm having so much fun bringing you 2 interviews each week, and I continue to discover guests that bring value to you with their insights and their stories, and it just keeps getting better. And thanks for your support. Now, meet Brian Jesko from Trinity Auto Haus in Waco, Texas. Brian has been in the industry for 25 years, yet has owned his shop for only the last 5. Now, when he started as a tech, he always knew he was going to own his own shop. And he recently, in January 2016, purchased his building. Brian credits his success to hanging out with successful people and to having an accountability partner or a coach to keep him focused and disciplined. He'll tell you about his training culture, where he's spending his marketing money, his biggest strength, and why he doesn't have customers, but he has friends for life. Brian and I had a very refreshing discussion. He grew up as a farm boy who thought that farm work was just too much work. Now, he's a service professional. Meet Brian Jesko. I'd like you to meet the owner of Trinity Auto Haus in Waco, Texas. Yes, a 25-year industry veteran with just 5 years as a business owner. His 10-bay shop employs 4 technicians and 2 service advisors. He's also a farm boy that thought farm work was too much work. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Brian Jesko.
Nice to be here, Carm. Thank you for inviting me for this.
Oh, great, Brian. Glad to have you. I love that southern drawl that you have. It's beautiful, just beautiful stuff.
I don't notice it.
I bet you don't. Do I sound like I'm from New York?
No.
Okay, great. Well, it depends on which New York, state or city. So this is interesting. Wow, a farm boy that thought farm work was too much work. Man, talk to me about that analogy.
Well, it seemed like it was always 7 days a week, and it never went away. So, you woke up and the farm was there, and you went to sleep and the farm was still there. And I thought there's got to be something better in life than doing this and working this hard. So I thought cars would be better.
And let me see. You go to sleep, you wake up, and the shop's still there.
It's still there. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I know. It's like we're looking for that golden goose somewhere along the line. But anyway, how exciting. 5 years as a businessman. You may be one of the youngest entrepreneurs, even though you've been in the business a lot of years, one of the youngest entrepreneurs we've had on the show. Glad to have you. Tell me about that big move from being in the business to buying a shop just 5 years ago.
I really think the fact of being raised on the farm and always being basically self-employed, when I went to work for somebody else, I realized that working for somebody else is not the right way to do it. And so when I started out, I knew I wanted to have my own place. So I have spent 20 years basically, trying to teach myself and build a customer base and learn the ins and outs of the industry so I could do it on my own. And so when the right time appeared itself and I was able to do it, I was ready to jump. And I think that allowed me the opportunity to step in and be basically successful from day one.
Did you have much mentoring from the shops that you worked in, as far as from the management side? I mean, because you say you jumped right in. That's an amazing transformation.
No, about 10 years ago, I joined Rotary and became a Rotarian.
Okay.
And I realized if you want to do something successful in life, surround yourself with successful people. And what a better group of people than a bunch of business owners that are working with a civic organization for your town and for the nation. So surrounding myself with them, I was able to start asking questions and find out the information I need to help me step forward.
So you probably believe in the axiom that says never be the smartest person in the room.
Oh, correct. You need to be there, and you need to be paying attention to all the other smartest people in the room.
Brian, in our pre-call, you said that you wanted to have your own shop, and you realized that in school.
Yeah, I mean, when I was going to school to learn all this, I realized that there's no way that I would be able to turn wrenches and to do manual labor my whole life. So you need to start realizing that early on and working towards something to where you can do that manual labor or be that hands-on guy in the beginning, but you have to be able to transition out of it. I'm not a service advisor. So my only transition out of being the hands-on guy is to go into a management position. And that's the easiest way to be in management, is when you're in control. And when you're in control, that's your shop.
You said you're not a service advisor type person. So basically, I think what I'm hearing you say, and a lot of entrepreneurs say this, they say that they're really unemployable, and that's why they have to be their own boss.
Yeah, no, I would not. I am too independent on my own.
Got it.
So somebody trying to hold me down would never work well.
So mentoring as a young person, getting business information, was the Rotary the only pathway, or did you branch out and get some help in other areas?
Well, once I was in the shop, I was able to branch out and get help from other areas. But before that, it was really just my Rotarian friends.
Okay.
And you know, when you're the youngest person in the Rotary group, everybody's like a mother or father to you. So they take you under their wings in a little different way.
Got it.
So they've been very good to me, and I would do anything for them.
So in the business sense today, specifically shop owner, entrepreneur, are you in a 20 group? Where are you getting your leading edge education?
I am with WorldPac in their smart groups, but I also have hired a consultant. You know, I have the Institute for Business Excellence helping me to push me forward. You know, sometimes we need that person that's behind us to keep us on track, but also to shove us forward in the right direction, because we can become very complacent or very content in one position and never really make those big moves. And I think everybody eventually plateaus and we're not able to make that next step. So you've got to find the people that are going to say, here, I'm here to pick you up, dust you off, and push you forward to keep you doing that. And having the Institute back me up, having Cecil there, having my smart group there, it's just a wonderful opportunity for me to keep pushing forward.
It sounds like you're talking about having an accountability partner.
That is exactly what you have to have. If there's somebody not here saying, you know, why are you doing this, or this isn't looking right, what are you doing wrong? We won't always question ourselves. We're very quick to say, you know what, it's just a bad day or a bad month, and just to check it off and walk away. Well, no, we need to find out what the root cause is, correct it, and shove forward. And you need somebody there to say, I'm seeing this, doesn't look good, you better fix it.
Got it. So you want that push, and you want to be able to say, you know, on our last call, I said that I was going to make this higher. I was going to change this margin. I was going to do this high. I was going to do all these things. And you use that accountability partner for personal discipline in the business.
Yes, yeah, I have to have it. I'm one of those guys that I can very easily file it on the shelf and never make it happen. So you're right. When you get that call and you're told, well, did you take care of this situation you had? And I have to say, not yet, but I know I need to. They keep pushing.
Are you excited about the growth that has come from all this training?
It's exciting. It's every day at the end of the day, and you look at that growth, you can say, wait, I won the game today. I won. And to measure it day and measure it week and measure it month and see, and then celebrate it with your team, that's the greatest thing in the world, to say, you know what, we may have had a few bumps today, but we won the day. We won.
I'd love to hear you say that. Celebrate with the team. So give me an idea. Take me to a celebration. What's it like?
Unique.
Ever stop and do a impromptu barbecue to reward the team?
There's times that we'll just bring food in on Friday and we'll stop what we're doing. We'll sit down and we'll eat and tell stories. But then the problem is everybody wants a nap after a big meal.
Me too. I'm talking to Bud Houston, a technical product specialist with Federal Mogul Motor Parts. Do you actually put products in the hands of the technicians?
Yes, absolutely. Anytime there's new product introduced, perhaps a new problem solver or a new technology, we keep that stuff on the van just because their local parts supplier may not have it available, and we think it's important to show them what's coming, and then seeing the part is really, especially with the new OEX, seeing the part and touching the part is something that changes perspective rather than just a piece of paper with a picture of the part.
Okay, so you put an OEX pad into the hand of a technician, and you've done this, I'm sure, hundreds of times. What do you see on their face when they see it?
You can tell they get it. In our industry, there's technology that we use all the time that you look at and you're like, that just doesn't make sense to me. I'm going to take your word that it works. You put an OEX brake pad in somebody's hand, and I just ask the question, why does this look so weird? And they're like, I bet it's to make it cool. They get it as soon as you put it in their hand.
So technicians holding your product and listening to your presentation, do you ever see the light bulbs go up? They raise their hand and says, boy, I've got a great idea for you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not only does that happen, every time I'm with a group of guys, I solicit ideas. I'm like, listen, a lot of the stuff that I've shared with you originated in a bay somewhere where the technician said, you know what, if you could do this, it would be really cool. And so the stuff that I get, I send up, to our engineering team and say, hey, could we do something like this? And there's things in the works, and there's some things that came out recently that originated in, hey, if you could do this, it would be helpful. Because at the end of the day, I think Federal Mogul's known in every line to be a problem solver, and not just solving a problem, but making an installation easier as well.
Federal Mogul Motor Parts' Garage Gurus is your go-to source for the vehicle training, technology, and answers you need to keep your next job on track. On site, online, or on demand, the Gurus are here to help keep your business and your career on the road to success. Visit fmgarageguru.com. Brian, what kind of tech advances could disrupt your business model?
I really don't know that there are any. I think that we continue to learn all the time, and cars are, as long as I can remember, cars have improved every year. Technology has changed every year. We just need to keep trudging forward and keep educating ourselves. The education's out there. We just need to take the time to do it. And it's, like I said, my team now, I can say, hey, we've got a class coming up on Saturday. are you guys willing to drive? Because we have to drive out of town to do it. Are you guys willing to drive out of town and take that time? They say, man, we're excited. What's it about? And when do we get to be there? That's exciting because they want to learn just as well as anybody else. So I don't think that we're going to be held back. We may have a hard time, but we're going to keep training and moving forward.
How far do you have to drive to get to a class?
Well, the nice thing is we're in between. We're right in the middle of Austin and Dallas and Fort Worth.
Got it.
So we can. It's an hour and a half drive to either one of those, or we can drive down to Houston. That's a 3-hour drive. So it's not that bad. It's just the fact that we have to go. We're going to travel one direction or another.
You mentioned supplier earlier, Worldpac. How often do you sit down with them and review your needs and what they do for you?
I have. Very, very well in my books.
So you're doing training with them. Are you paying for the training for your techs?
Yes, I do pay for the training for the techs, but every bit of it is worth it. And you're not going to find free training that's good training. You either pay for it and get what you pay for, or get what you're not paying for.
That's a great point. Really good point. Service advisor training, are they getting trained?
With the Institute, they're getting training. I have to find them. Also, Worldpac does offer service rider training, which one of them has been to twice, and I have a new service advisor that has not had the opportunity to go yet. But the first part of this next year, whenever there's a class available, he is being shipped off. It is his turn.
Got it. Hey, you said you love your team. You've never had a better team than now. Ever create a mentorship program inside your business?
I have not. Actually, I have been so hands-on in the business that it has not allowed me a lot of opportunity to do things like that. But I'm getting to a point to where my side of the business is slowing down, and I have that time because we have a great technical school here that I would love to go out and talk to and say, hey, if you've got a good young man or young woman that's ready to be hands-on, I would love to give them an opportunity to see what it's really like. We have so many of these kids that come out, one that don't really have an idea of what it's really like, but they get into a bad situation right off the bat and they lose their love. Working on cars is a love. It's a passion.
Boy, so true and so well spoken. What's your latest investment, Brian, in the shop as far as equipment?
I just purchased 2 of the drive-over lifts. We are a 10-bay shop, but we're a 10-bay shop with a lift in every bay. So I had 2 bays that were kind of tight that I could not put a 2-post or any lift there. But they've now come out with the scissor lift that you can drive over that has a 6-foot lift on it, which is great, and the guys absolutely love them.
And you're using that for what, just tires and brakes?
They love them so much. Anything that they can do on that lift, they will try to do on that lift because it's so easy to operate. So you name it, they're going to try and do it because we'll do anything.
They're going to fight for the new lifts. All right.
They almost do. I never would have dreamed that something like that, to me, that's small. You know, that's not a technological advance or some new scandal or anything. It's just a lift, but the ease of the lift really makes them happy.
You're doing all makes, all models at your shop?
We do all makes, all models. So every day is a new day with new cars.
Am I assuming you're in truck country?
We are, but we are actually in the middle of Waco, so we don't see a whole bunch of trucks. Your smaller outlying towns generally will have that shop that'll work on the farm trucks.
Yeah.
You know, the diesels and stuff. So we don't see that many of them. We see them, but not that many.
Are you doing digital vehicle inspections?
We are not. Whenever I have a class coming up in Utah in January, and I'm hoping to get to sit in on a demo for bolt-on because I would love to get to that point because it sounds like it'll make it so much easier. The technicians already have their phone linked to the printer so they can go and take pictures of cars and we can print out this deal and we can put it with their paperwork. Then we can scan it and email it, whatever they need. So they're really already doing a lot of the steps. But if we had it all condensed onto one tablet, that would be so much better.
Brian, share one idea on how to make more money in a shop.
Oh gosh, I wish I knew what it was.
Well, if you had to go out, tomorrow, a friend called you up and says, "Hey, buddy, it's been a while. I'm struggling. Give me one thing to work on."
The one thing that I did not realize would make a huge difference was when I signed on with Cecil and the Institute, they all talked about doing vehicle check sheets. We had never used an actual sheet. We would just look the car over and thought we were covering everything. We worked together and we built a check sheet that everybody agreed on, and we go through, and that actually increased my RO average by $100 an RO. So I didn't need to increase cars. We needed to check the cars we already had better.
You mentioned earlier about really awarding the team for the success that you've had. Do they know on a daily or weekly basis where you guys stand?
They actually are more in touch with it than what I have to even tell them. They know. At the end of the day, they celebrate a winning day before I even have to go and tell them, because they know. It's almost like they're so in tune with the business that they can sense it. They know.
Talk about being intuitive and having a feel for the success, the daily success. That's a great story. Give me your best customer service story.
It's probably going to be something minor, but we had a customer that had left her door open and her battery had gone dead. And she called and was just asking how to hook up jumper cables to get her car started again, and did not want to make a mistake. And I said, "You don't have to. I'm coming to save you right now. I'll be there in 5 minutes." And she could not believe that we were willing to take that time to go out of our way to help her. But we should be treating every customer that way. Every customer that walks in should be the next most important customer. And we should give them that time. We actually have a shuttle service and loaner cars. And when you tell them, "Well, we can give you a ride to work," it's almost like they're amazed. They've never heard of that before. They just stand and stare at you. "No, really, we can give you a ride to work. It's okay." Things that we take for granted every day, they get excited about.
So that makes you unique in the market?
It's really not. I mean, the idea's been around forever, but nobody thinks of an independent shop actually driving you or picking up your car. Which, if I want the customer to come to me, I need to find all those little niche things that makes me stand out. And I have the people here. I have the people that love getting out of the shop sometimes, so I will say, "Hey, let's go pick up this car. I'm going to grab so-and-so." And he's excited. He gets to go for a ride and get out.
Wow. Have you always had a service advisor?
We started out without a service advisor here. It was just two techs out in the shop, and we thought we could man the phone, and that did not last very long. Whenever we started out here, it grew fast enough that we had to have somebody in the office.
And when did you realize that?
Within the first 6 months.
Okay. And I guess here's my point. Again, I'm an old friend of yours, and I say, my business is getting to the point where I just can't do it all. In fact, I'm on the counter. I'm burning myself out. I'm probably not good to be on the counter. I should be working on the business, not in it. Good advice to have a service advisor, no matter how big or small you are?
The owner should never be behind the service desk. They should walk behind it and greet the customer and shake their hand, and then walk around and maybe have a conversation with them. But I've never seen an owner sit behind that desk and do a great job. We do well, but never great.
Boy, do I hear that all the time. Oh, I remember the story from Mark Goldsmith, who says he got fired from his counter by his wife and his service advisor. So, yeah, you make a great point. Where are you spending your money in marketing for new customers? Is it the old-fashioned way, mailers? Or are you investing in the web?
I have not done any mailers, and I'm still at that stage to where we're kind of throwing money in different directions, and we're measuring to see what's making a difference. So we have a TV commercial. We advertise on radio. We advertise at any school that'll let us put us in their planners. We want to be on book covers. We want churches, anything that'll get us around your average everyday people, the people that are here. Waco has 3 colleges in it, so I need to go after college kids. That needs to be important. This is kind of a Bible Belt area. This is a huge Baptist town. I need to be in the churches. I need to be advertising. This town is made up by more than just one segment of people. We need to throw out in every area and see which works best for us. So we're throwing out and measuring right now to see what's best.
And you've been doing this, for 5 years now?
For 5 years now. I have been kind of pushing money in different directions just to see.
And nothing's creaming to the top?
Not yet, because the market changes. The web has become so strong now, but 5 years ago, we would look at the web and maybe there was a review or two there and we would think something about it, but it wasn't that big a deal. Nowadays, the web is really important. That's one of the first things you go to. You'll pull them up. You'll read reviews before you even think about calling them. So that market's changing. What we used to sit at home and maybe watch more news on TV, but now you can get on your phone and you can pull up any story you want to pull up. So news really isn't that important anymore. You have to change with the market.
Give me an industry problem and a solution that you have.
I almost hate to say this as a problem, and I hate to say what I think my solution is, because I hate to think of anything as being policed, but I think we have a lot of independent shops out there that would fall under that shade tree category that are doing repairs on cars that are very substandard. That makes me very nervous. So there's many times when you'll have a car come in and they say, well, I had it at Joe's Shack and they've been working on it for weeks now and I spent thousands of dollars on it, but my car's doing the same thing. Well, you look at it and it's almost like a butcher has got loose underneath the hood of their car. There needs to be a way that we can manage that. I don't want to say police. I don't think police is the right word for it, but there needs to be checks and balances for shops.
You're talking about licensing?
In a roundabout way, yes. I would not mind paying for a license to say I'm a very well equipped shop.
But paying for a license, interesting. Maybe the technicians need to be certified. Are your technicians ASE certified?
I have one that's completely certified, and the others are working on getting all their certification because that's part of their pay plan. Got it.
And isn't that, in the eyes of the customer, an important distinction between your shop and Joe's Shack?
I don't know that it is, because I don't think most people understand what ASE certified is. They've seen the seal and they've heard about it, but they don't understand how important it is.
Yeah, okay. Well, we know ASE is working on a marketing campaign to try to clean that up and bring the awareness there. So thanks. You make a really good point. Any must-attend conferences that you just can't miss every year?
I've been to the WorldPack training events the last 3 years where they do their big, it's either WorldPack or AutoLogic. Their 1 year is AutoLogic and 1 year is WorldPack. It's a huge event, and it's exciting to see that many people together at one event and to have the opportunity to pick and choose what classes you take. Luckily, last year it was right here in Dallas, so we shut down the shop. We all loaded up. We drove up there, had a great weekend, and the guys were amazed at how many people travel to get this education. And when you look around, these are your top shops. These are your top technicians. This is the cream of the crop you get to see at these events. Going and being, for them, it's the same as me going to Rotary. They get to be around like-minded people that will make them better. So it's exciting.
Are they pulling lifelong network friendships out of those meetings?
I believe we all are. We're all finding, most of the time with repair shops, you're not going to be able to go down to the shop that's down the street and then work with you, because in a roundabout way, you're competition. So they may talk to you and may help you a little bit, but they will always withhold information. I can get online and send an email out to shop friends, to my group shops, and say, this is the situation I'm having. What do you think I should do, or what is the input from the group? And then everybody will start feeding you input, because everything that I'm going to encounter there has probably been somebody else that has encountered it. Everything that technician in the shop is going to have as a bump in the road or a stumbling point on working on this car, somebody out there has encountered that stumbling block. So being able to reach out and get that, that's an invaluable service.
Are you struggling with anything right now?
You know, it's amazing. You always struggle with stuff. There's always something there. Every day is a new day. And you never know what an election year might do to your business, because this year has been trying all year. We have ridden the roller coaster. We're doing better than last year, but it seems like this year has been more of a roller coaster than ever. But we just pull together and say, when you sit down for that weekly meeting and say, guys, here's what we're running into, what's the suggestions? They're all going to put their input in, and we're going to come up with a solution that we're going to try and move forward with.
You said an election year. Do you think it compressed your business a little bit?
I think that, yes, it did. It seemed like people tended to hold on to their money a little bit tighter because we're not real sure what the economy will be next year. It's amazing that we can allow one person to change something that we all have a voice on.
You know, it's so interesting. You just gave me a thought. I really should be interviewing in the future the red states and blue states and ask people. All right, so let me see. You're in a red state. How's your business? Is it up or down? You bring up a great point. Hey, what's your biggest strength as an entrepreneur?
I would have to say it's the people that are standing behind me, helping me.
So creating great people to make decisions without you? Yes,
I have started this, and I may be somewhat in the lead, but I really think it's the crew and everybody that supports it that makes it happen. It's not me. It's a group effort.
Glad to hear it. The best piece of advice you've ever been given?
Stick with it. It gets better tomorrow.
Wow, how simple, huh? I mean, you're right. Bad day, that's all you have to say to yourself.
Yeah, it's a bad day. Let's dust off and go home, sleep it off. Tomorrow's going to be a new day.
What a great attitude. Brian, what's the most unexpected thing you've learned along the way?
You really don't realize who's there to help you until you're down. And seeing that firsthand has been amazing because, like I said, this shop has always done well. The good Lord has always blessed me, and I've always done well. But to be able to say, oh man, my service rider's not coming in today, or they're going to be out for a couple of days, and to just get on the phone and call a customer and say, hey, I know you're retired now, and I'm needing a little bit of help at the shop with the phone. Do you think you could help us out? And they say, man, that just sounds exciting. I'll be there shortly. And to see, I've just been blessed with that. We've had times where there's been somebody not here, we needed help, or we needed a car taken to the dealership for something goofy. And I can call somebody up that's just a customer, and they're right here. They're right here to help me out and do whatever needs to be done. And I call all these people customers, but they're not customers. These are friends for life. Every day I get to meet a new friend.
Wow. Are you living the good life?
You know, you worry about that and you always wonder what the good life really is. But if I stand back and look at my life, I have a great life. I have a phenomenal life that supported me through this. I have two wonderful kids that are in college and doing great things. And I have great friends that surround me every day. I just don't know that life can get any better than that.
Any hobbies?
I actually do not have any hobbies. I love the thrill of winning every day, that I come to work, and work is work. Work is my hobby. Work is my life. And I just love it. That winning is the greatest feeling in the world. And I don't know that playing golf cannot replace that feel.
I hear you. Very good. I love that. Great ending there. Finish this sentence for me. I've always thought that I wanted more time on my hands to enjoy other things other than life. What I've always wanted is to have this successful business and to see people happy and do well. And with the help of the Institute, being with the smart groups, being with all the people that are helping me on a daily basis,
I'm getting what I've wanted. Success.
Thank you. Crystal ball, what's the shop of the future going to look like, be like? What's your place going to be like in 10, 20 years?
I hope to be able to keep my team around and to grow with my team and to have multiple locations. That would be a dream. I'm going to work on it. I have a very clean shop, which everybody makes comments about, but it could be cleaner. It could be more organized. We're working on cars like surgeons. This should almost be like an emergency room. It should look that well.
I've heard people talk about triage.
It feels like that sometimes. When you're done patching something back together, you have a mess all over on the floor, so you've got to do some cleaning.
Any big changes coming to the business next year? You mentioned branching out. When are you going to do that?
I hope to see the economy stabilize a little bit on our end. I hope to see that come this next year, and I want to get back on my growth plan. I had always hoped to grow at least 10% a year, and this year I'm not going to get that. I'm going to be under that, but we're still growing. I want to get back on that plan because we need to work on getting this shop, this location to capacity before we can learn and move forward.
That's an excellent and smart move. But you see in a couple of years you having another branch if the economy changes the way you expect?
I think even if the economy doesn't change, this group is going to trudge forward and we're going to have another location in a couple of years.
So with that in mind, Brian, would you look to make an acquisition or do a brownfield, find an empty building and transform it?
I have to wait until that opportunity arises because sometimes that acquisition may just be presented to me in 2 years because you don't know. There's probably more thrill to starting something from scratch because you get to see day one as zero and there's nothing but growth from there. But we'll do whatever. Sometimes you have to wait for God to lay the blessing in front of you, and then you have to see that it's there and take it.
Thank you so much. Very wise person you are. And I really appreciate all your great stuff. And thanks for sharing everything today. One last request. Share with us some great words of wisdom, words to live by.
I'm going to go back to don't ever let it get you down and surround yourself with the people that are going to push you forward because they're there.
Well, it sure sounds like your formula for success.
It is. And with all the help I've had, it can only get better from here.
Hey, thanks for being on, man.
Thank you very much, Carm. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, Aftermarketers, thanks for joining Brian Jesko and myself. Now, there's more on Brian on the episode's page at remarkableresults.biz, E175, and that .biz is .biz. Brian shared great ideas, best practices, and insights, and he gave you some great perspectives to think about. Now, by the way, I'm interested in your ideas, perspectives, and insights, and or comments. Just email me at carm@remarkableresults.biz or head over to the contact page on the website. Hey, thanks for helping spread the word on the Aftermarket's premier podcast that delivers powerful insights and stories for you. Entrepreneurs, technicians, and educators are among the many industry professionals that listen each week. So keep sharing the wisdom with your friends and peers. And until next time, thanks for being on board to listen and learn from another inspiring aftermarket professional. Until next time.